Hi, I'm Willy, and in this video I'm going to show you how to expose an Oracle AI Optimizer RAG pipeline as an MCP tool, so that Claude Desktop, Client or any other MCP compatible client can query your own documents directly from Vector Store using similarity search in real time. The Oracle AI Optimizer MCP server supports multiple transports, standard input-output, SSE, and streamable HTTP. And in this demo, we'll be using streamable HTTP. This communication layer is what connects the agent, whether that's Claude Desktop or any other dashboard, to your exported RAG tool backend by Oracle database. Let's start by checking the prerequisites. What are you looking at is the Oracle AI Optimizer running in a browser. We've already set up Vector Store populated with domain-specific documents. In our case, our admin documents. And here are several from 26AI and 23AI. For example, there is Enterprise Manager Administration Guide, Enterprise Manager Advanced Management, and so on. And this is the domain-specific knowledge that we are going to expose to our MCP tool to be used as a RAG store. Okay, so the next thing. First, what we need to do is to check if this vector store is configured well. So our first question to the RAG setup that we put together, which is consisted of local Ollama GPTOSS 20 billion parameters and Ollama MXBIA embed large also running locally, driving the DBA admin vector store. The first question is going to be how to create new database users or user. Give me SQL command. Here we go. SQL command to create a new database users are as follows. It shows us in which reference he found the answer and in which document. So it looks like it works. We can download the settings, including the sensitive settings, like this, and download the LangChain MCP as well. Okay, now we are on our way. I copied those two files into the folder. I created a separate folder under the demo called MCP demo, and I opened up two terminals looking at those folders. We can check the content of the folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand the zip file created, and we are going to replace the optimizer settings with the settings that we downloaded. So I'm going to rename this one and simply copy into the folder and replace. To make sure we're doing everything all right, we're going to check the AI Optimizer and Toolkit documentation, where we have a detailed documentation how to export as MCP LangChain server under advanced documentation. So we did the exporting thing, and what we need to do is set up using the UV installed in the project directory. What we need to do is first to check the folder structure and move to LangChain MCP folder. Okay, so now we can run the comments. First, initialize the UV init, but not creating workspace in a first step. Okay, next thing is to create VNV environment. And we need to activate this environment. Okay, we have activated the environment. And what we need to do now is to install additional packages for this environment. Okay, packages installed. So we have a simple test now to try to run to see if the setup works. Okay, so let's try it. Instead of your question, we are going to add, for example, create test user. So as you can see, information is successfully loaded, which means that our LLM setup or our RAG using the MCP is working okay. It's returning the correct messages. It returned entire answer with the steps how to create new user. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is run our MCP server. And this we are going to run by using this command. So the command is uv run, and we are going to run our Python script in a folder. And as you can see, the server is now running, and we are going to test this server using the MCP inspector. MCP inspector is a tool that can be used to check how our MCP tool is doing. So we're starting the tool, and as you can see, MCP inspector started, and we're going to open this folder or this link together with a token in a browser. So let's open a browser with a link and connect to our server. As you can see, the server connected. We are using the HTTP localhost 1990 MCP with streamable HTTP. And we are going to go to list resources, where we can see what is going on here. We can go to tools and list tool, and you can see through MCP we have RAG_tool exposed as MCP. So we are going to use that tool to give a question to it. And the question will be how to create new database user and to give us the SQL comments for it. So let's run the tool. Okay, our tool returned an answer. Nice one. The MCP inspector calls RAG tool, which triggers full RAG pipeline on the server. The query gets embedded, the vector store retrieves the most relevant document chunk, and the language model generates an answer grounded in that text. You can see the response comes back with the correct answer, citing the relevant content. The pipeline works perfectly through MCP protocol. Now let's connect to Claude Desktop. To continue our setup, we will follow the instructions on our AI Optimizer toolkit, where we have entire section dedicated to our Claude Desktop setup. Claude Desktop is Anthropic's native desktop application that lets you interact with Claude as an AI assistant. And importantly, it supports MCP, which means you can extend it with own tools like your RAG pipeline. So let's do it. You simply open Claude Desktop, go to Settings, go to Developers, and define local MCP server by edit the configuration. The configuration is called Claude Desktop config, and we will open it with our VS Code editor. We can just simply add our configuration from our settings. We just copy these settings to rec. So the settings are MCP server, rec, command is npx, and it calls MCP remote, and MCP remote works at our streamable HTTP server at localhost at port 9090 MCP. We have to save this, save, and simply reopen Claude. So as you can see, rec command or rec, our rec setting is working. Let's go to our chat. Let's create new chat and ask him a question. Use Optimizer MCP tool rec tool and answer the question: how to create new database user? Give me SQL commands. So let's run it. So it's opening up the tool. It's running the request. So here we go. And it says, here is the answer straight from Oracle AI Optimizer rec tool, querying your Oracle documentation vector store. And as you can see, it gives us correct answer with all the things necessary to create a new user. Let's ask him another question. We will push him to use Optimizer MCP tool and ask him what is vector indexing. So here we go. And it gave us the answer, what is vector indexing, and the answer was found in our vector store, which is running in a background on an AI Optimizer rec tool. And that's it. We took an Oracle AI Optimizer RAG pipeline, exposed it as an MCP tool over streamable HTTP, and connected to Claude Desktop. Claude is now querying your private vector store directly in real time. The same setup works with any MCP compatible client like Cline or Cursor. Just point it to the same server. If you found this useful, like and subscribe, and drop comment below telling me what kind of documents you'd put in your own Oracle vector store. See you in the next one and stay with Oracle.